So the big question today is how to master a first date. Today, I want to share my top 3 tips on where to go, what to do, and what to wear on a very first date for a lasting impression. My name is Joan Nwosu, and welcome to the Second Chances Podcast, a love journey in black and white. Okay, before I share with you my top 3 tips for mastering the art of dating, especially the first date, I want to say that dating these days, I think, is easier than ever before. Like, honestly, we have the online dating space where you can meet anyone from anywhere all over the world, all the different types of people. There's just so many options are out there in today's world, and it's so easy because you can just do it from your phone. But I know, it's still a bit of a shit show. Okay, so I'm not going to pretend like people are not frustrated with being online or trying to date online. So I get it. So I'm hoping that with these 3 tips, which I really had to master, that way your first dates can lead to a second date, to a third date, to a fourth date, and you can lead to your happily ever after, if that's what you truly desire. So for me, the first dates are usually the most important. I prepare like crazy for a first date. And I'm not saying pretending or trying to be who I'm not. I'm just saying I make sure that with every first date, I set the tone for whatever is going to progress after that day, whether it's a goodbye and God bless, or whether it's a friendship, or whether it's a next date or fourth date, it doesn't really matter. I show up pretty much the same way to every single date. So the first one I want to talk about is actually setting the date. So I know if you're anything like me, Miss Planner, Miss Control Freak, you want to be in charge of everything. Well, no, not for a first date. The first date is where you as a woman, you allow the man to make all the plans for the date. Yes, you should set some boundaries. Like if he lives on the other side of town, you shouldn't be offering to drive over to his side of town. No, the dates should be closer to you, and he should even be picking you up. I think it's very, 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 very important to allow the man to plan the date and to be the one to come to you. It's not just about, this is the traditional male-female role, gender roles or whatever. No, it's just that with the right intention, if you set this intention the right way, it really sets the tone for not just the rest of the date, but everything that takes place afterwards. When a man is able to plan the date and is able to travel the journey to you, or maybe even to pick you up, it really speaks volumes about his interest level, and he sees you as, I need to put some work into having this woman. So somewhere in their mind, it makes them actually a bit more interested. So don't be too quick to say, no, I'll drive over to you. Oh, it's not a big deal. Or no, let's meet you halfway. No, lean back and allow him to come to you and allow him to make all the plans as well. Very, 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 very key. It really does set the tone for everything that's going to happen going forward. The second thing I want to talk about is what you wear. And I've talked about this so many times. You might think it's unimportant, but think about it. If you were going for a job interview, you will take time to pick out an outfit. Like, you wouldn't just show up in whatever shabby loungewear that you like, chill in it, or just carry your hair in a way that, shows like you haven't brushed it in a couple of days. I know that might be your comfortable look, but it really isn't a good look for a first date. So I really want to talk about what you should wear on your first date. The first thing for me that is key is you need to dress like a lady. And by this, I mean wearing more feminine clothing, stay away from the pants and the jeans and the dark colors. I know. I used to be a lover of black too. It forgives, it hides everything. But not for a first date. The goal is not to hear words like, oh, you look hot. You want to hear words like, you look pretty. There's a huge difference in the energy between those two compliments. So make sure you choose outfits and colors that make you look and feel pretty. Again, you do need to be comfortable, but you need to you need to inspire him to give you the kind of compliments that you're looking for, which is you look soft, you look gentle, you look calm, you look approachable. right? And that makes him instinctively, he wants to know more. He wants to take care of you. He just feels like, oh, you're this beautiful an angel that he wants to take care of, not you're this hot looking, drop dead gorgeous. And you know where that usually ends up in a man's mind, at least anyway. So dress with confidence, make sure you look graceful, make sure you feel comfortable, make sure that, you put in a bit of your own unique style as well, right? But whatever you do, dressing like a lady, I think, is the most important part of this point. Choose something that really makes you feel like the divine feminine, because that's what we're trying to inspire in the man. You want to give him something that encourages him to want to get to know you more, to want to feel like, okay, you can be the yin to his yang, right? Or the other way around, right? Do not wear anything too revealing, because again, you want him to be looking at your face, not trying to look between your chest. You want him to focus on the right things. It should be flattering, but not too flattering where it's now over sexual and he's just constantly looking at you and checking you and giving expressions like, damn, that's hot. I can't wait to see this and I can't wait to do that, right? And one other tip I can give you on dressing is wear something that pops. Like for me, I do a lot of leather, so I might just put on a leather choker or some jewelry or something that is going to make him be like, oh, that's nice, that's pretty, oh, that's different, that's unique. Something that's really unique to your style, but also pops as well. And if you can get other people to give you a compliment, trust me, that is a huge plus. So that's that about dressing. The third thing for me that I think that is very, very key on a first date is your body language, how you show up, your energy. Very, very, very important. I talk about leaning back a lot. And yeah, some people might say, is it physically, is it metaphorically? It's both, okay? Leaning back for me is not just with you not leading the conversation and allowing him to lead, but also your physical appearance. Don't lean on the table. Don't lean forward. Don't try to whisper to him. Pin your back to the chair. Pin your back. Just practice that. Lean back. Pin your back to the chair, because that makes you feel a lot more relaxed, a lot more open. And he leans forward because now he's intrigued. He wants to know more about you. There's a certain mystery about you. And when it comes to leaning back in terms of conversation, allow him to lead. It doesn't mean be mute. No, it just means that allow him to lead the conversation and listen more. Right? Let him be the one doing more of the talking. Give him the space to express himself, to show his interest, to talk about himself. Because men love to do that too. And that way you stay mysterious. So you don't say too much. Of course you speak, but you don't say too much. So this gives him something to look forward to. So he's like, okay, well, we've been talking for an hour. I want to know more. I want to get to know more about you. You know, you're not very revealing. You want him to leave thinking like, I want to know more. Not, oh my God, she's a bit of a handful because now I know everything about her, right? So hold back, not in a passive way, but more in a receptive way, allowing him to lean into you and to give more, and you just stay in your feminine energy, which is, essentially all about receiving, right? So those are my 3 tips that I think if you can master these 3 things, allowing him to plan the dates and come to you, dressing with the right intention so that you get the right reaction from him, and mastering the art of the communication, the leaning back and having the right kind of engagement, there's no reason why you shouldn't move on to a second, a third, and a 4th date. Putting all of this together will not only give you the confidence, but it would also allow you to enjoy the date because now the pressure is off you. Right? You're leaning more into your feminine energy, and that way you're just exuding this allure of, I know who I am, I know my self-worth, I know the value that I bring to the table. And now he just wants to impress you, and he will definitely want to see you again. So there you have it, my top 3 tips for mastering the first date. Thank you for tuning into today's episode on the Second Chances podcast, a love journey in black and white. I will see you same time tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Talk to you soon.